Hey everyone, trying to do the lighting. God, it's shit in this room at night. So sorry everybody. Hope it'll look better for you than what it does on my screen. I've almost got like a horizon line right here. I'm not sure how to fix it, but anywho. So I am doing a live feed tonight. A live feed, no readings, not doing readings. And I'm now just filling in time while I'm waiting for people to join my live. Hey, someone's here. Lovely. There's nothing worse when you do a live feed. Hey Taylor, there is nothing worse. Seriously, we're doing a live feed, and I'm just doing chats, okay? Just doing a talk about tarot because everybody, I am launching my tarot course. Is this a bit high? That doesn't look quite right. I'm also launching my tarot course tomorrow, which is a little bit exciting. Yay! And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I suppose, tarot cards and that in general, and how I kind of fell into it, because I did kind of fall into it in a weird and wonderful way. I was brought up a very strict Seventh-day Adventist. For those of you who've heard the story, I do apologise for repeating, but seriously, because I always have new people on my page, they don't necessarily know the story. So I come from a very strict religious background, okay? So I was brought up a Seventh-day Adventist. And for a lot of religions of that kind of ilk, I suppose, for want of a better word, tarot cards are evil, like clairvoyants are evil, because it says in Leviticus, whatever, 19:23, whatever it is, that, thou shalt not consult with mediums. And that's always very, very much one of those things. Oh, you should never go and see a clairvoyant because, the Bible says you shouldn't, but the Bible also says you shouldn't wear clothing of mixed fibre. Men shouldn't shave their faces and, all sorts of shit, but no, people take the one bit out of it. However, having been brought up in a religious upbringing for 30 years approximately, it is one of those things that it's very hard to get rid of the indoctrination. And I became friends with a neighbour, I suppose, when I lived in Sydney, and she was right into loved clairvoyance and tarot cards and all that. And she always had to do a shuffle and try and read her cards for me and that. And I was like, well, a little bit, this isn't quite right. But I became more and more interested in it, and I decided to go and step foot inside a spiritual shop. And I actually bought, this is the pack of deck. This is the deck I actually bought, and I bought this deck in, I don't know, probably something like 1997. So that's the back of the deck. It's funny, the card that's the front. So it's the Rider-Waite deck. I had no idea. My friend actually had a deck of cards that were, I don't know, I felt they were dark. The colours in them were actually kind of dark. I'm just going to try and tip that down a little bit more. Sorry. And I'm crooked and OCD's kicking in. And, the pictures were kind of, dark. And I just didn't like them. I wanted something sort of light and bright. And I saw these cards, and they're actually they're the older cards, so they're not dark colours, but they aren't. The Rider-Waite deck now have a bright deck, I think it is, and it's actually really, really bright. They're really bright. But I just loved I thought, yeah, that's fine, And the funniest thing was, so this, every time you see a Pentacles card, that pentagram, you see the pentagram, the pentagram is evil because that's satanic. It's not. Do you mean you learn these things as you go along in life, and it's not. But seriously, this deck of cards was the first tarot cards I ever bought. They sat in a drawer for 2 years unopened because I was completely terrified of them, because that's the devil's work, and I had no idea, and with the cards, now when you buy a deck of cards like this, they come with a little booklet. Like my oracle cards come with a little booklet, right? So, and I finally had the courage to open them, and you're just sort of looking at them going, what the fuck do these things mean? What the Chariot? Seriously, what? And, and then you look up the booklet, and so you try and do this whole kind of reading for yourself, which is kind of pointless because you don't know what you're doing. But, you know, I mean, look at the Chariot. And the meaning is adversity, possibly already overcome, conflict and influences, turmoil, vengeance, success, possibly a voyage or a journey, escape, rushing to a decision, need to pay attention to details, urgency to gain control of one's emotions. It's like reverse. What the fuck does reverse mean? You know, it's just like there's all these just words. There was all these words, and I'm going like, what the hell does that mean? Like, how do you apply that to something? And you know, you just sort of sit there and go, I don't understand like all this is. And I went and did. There must have been a tarot, and again, it's people who recommend me to go and do things. And I went and did this course. A friend said, this girl who does tarot readings, she's doing a tarot course. I went, oh, okay, I'll go do that, you know. And it wasn't bad, but I still felt a bit, I don't know, out of my depth, because I just didn't understand where the tarot came from. Like, what was the purpose of them in a way? It's like, sure, you can understand, you know, you pick up a card and you read, you look at a card and you should go, oh, well, what does this, you know, what images do you see in the card that stand out for you? And, you know, and I sort of did that, but it's still, I don't know, it still didn't gel with me. And I think, in a way, I'm a person that I need the information. Like, I don't like making a decision until I have enough information. And, you know, I will read and I will research and read and research and read and research until I can get, for me, what is a clearer picture of the information. It's like, you know, you read, somebody, you know, comments on something on Facebook, like in general, and they might make some kind of quote about something. So then I'll actually research what they've said, see if what they've said is actually true, like where did that come from, and that I don't just take what people say, you know, always at face value. Like, sometimes you just have to go, well, is that actually real? Or is that something that they've just adjusted to themselves, you know? And it's one of those things where, to me, tarot was a really evolving thing for me. The clairvoyant side of things for me was, I'm going to say easier, but I suppose that really just came naturally. But what I also realised is that with tarot, you also have to use your intuition, because it can be kind of weird doing a reading for someone. Just as an example, you know, if somebody asks, you know, about, you know, the love of their life, and, you know, they get a wands card. So what's that? That's the nine of wands, okay? And that looks like a guy. And you look at that, you know, and I look at that originally, I go, well, that looks like somebody who's hit his head, you know, and he's got lots of sticks with green things growing off him, you know. But then as you get to sort of understand that, how to interpret it for whatever question. So technically wands is about business and enterprise, like your career and all that sort of stuff. Well, what the fuck has that got to do with, you know, love or whatever? But when you look at that card, you start seeing things, and, you know, the bandage on the guy's head might not necessarily be physically hurt, but it could be that the guy's, you know, that relationship's not going to work. He's going to hurt you, like emotionally. Or you might look at him and, you know, the guy looks quite closed off, and you think, okay, it's got nothing to do with the wands. Maybe it's more about the guy in the picture, you know. He's looking a bit closed off and clinging to his stuff, like not willing to talk, you know. So you can start to see how these other elements come into it and into the tarot, that you can, you know, read a card for any question, so to speak, you know. Because especially when you're starting out, you know, I want to know about my business, and I get the 3 of Cups, and Cups is all love and relationships and emotions and, you know, like that sort of stuff. And you're going, alrighty then, but hey, they're all celebrating, so your business will be successful. Yeah, you know, it's that kind of thing. But it is a really helpful tool, and I know I offer you know, tarot readings as well as my clairvoyant readings. And one of them I do is like a 12-month tarot reading. I actually have quite often, you know, quite a number of years, actually do a 12-month layout for myself. And it's not so much for me that it has to be the letter of the law. And that's the thing that people need to realize with any kind of like clairvoyant reading or a tarot reading, that it's all guidance, and we can make decisions that can change that course from when you've looked at those cards. And, you know, with that, you know, you can sit there and go, like, I think one year, the Tower card, which is a major arcana card, came up for me, and, you know, so I said to Chris, oh, look, a lot of change happening and no control over it. And he's just like, oh my God, that's awful. I went, well, no, I know that's kind of going to happen. So, you know, just to kind of go with the flow of it, Jane, you know, okay, this could possibly happen. So I can either make decisions now that can actually prevent that from happening, or if it does happen, I'm prepared that it's going to happen. It's not going to actually be some really nasty surprise. So I find them really good with guidance like that. Now somebody made a comment. I'm just going to flick through something about, I think they found tarot a bit rigid. Let me just open that. Yeah, Rachel. She loves oracle cards, and oracle cards are very, very much more intuitive. Like my cards are much simpler, I think, to read. Oracle cards are not nearly as complex as what tarot cards are. And, you know, there's a whole history behind tarot. Like, they've been around for a very, very, very long time. And there's this huge history around them and how they were developed and, you know, the way that they work. And I just found it really, really fascinating as I learned more about it, like delved into it myself, you know, and just, you know, sitting there going, okay, understanding the concept behind them. They're not literally black and white cards. Like, you know, death doesn't mean death. And, you know, not every card has a celebration and is a good thing. And sometimes, you know, there's the reverse meanings, which is if you put the card upside down, you know, and, yeah, so there's all this whole complex kind of thing. It's not just to me, learning tarot isn't as simple as just doing, you know, a couple of hours and whammo, I know and understand tarot, because to me it's a lot more deep than that. There's a lot more depth to them in how to read them. And I've created this course that is being released tomorrow, is literally because, well, one, I had so many of you actually asking me, when are you going to do a tarot course? So here it is. I procrastinated about creating a tarot course for a number of years. And the reason I procrastinated is I wanted it to be a really good course. I wanted it to be quite in depth, but not so... Sorry, my husband's just commenting going, will you make this week out alive? I don't know. We're just so stressed at the moment. It's hilarious. I do love your Bullfie. It's all right. Inside joke. Sorry, folks. But I created this course for you that I hope gives you enough basis that you can have the confidence to read the cards, but also simple enough that you're not overly overwhelmed by the cards, because there is a lot more to them. You know, like my you know, oracle cards or anybody's, like I said, are much simpler. Just go, okay, you get a card of happiness, so that's what you need to, are you not happy enough, what are you focusing on, blah blah blah, you know, and you apply it to however you want the question, because they're a simpler form. But the tarot are actually our whole life. So the tarot are our whole life. And you have the major arcana cards. And so if you don't really know tarot, that's okay. I'm just going to find a major arcana card, which I cannot. Okay, I mentioned the Tower. So the Tower. The major arcana cards in the Rider-Waite deck. And I will be using this deck to do the course. So, you know, if or when, you know, hopefully when you sign up for the course, you will get yourself a pack of Rider-Waite deck, because they're the most universally known cards, and I think in a way they're the simplest because there's so much information about them. So the major arcana cards are usually just got one heading down here, and they're just numbered at the top, and they are life's major events that are happening in our lives, and we go up and down, and we go around, and sometimes we go in circles, and sorry, just had a phone call trying to come through. And we don't learn the lessons from it, so we repeat things, or we, you know, for whatever reason. And then you have the minor arcana cards, okay? So the minor arcana are your cups, your swords, your pentacles, or discs. My other set of tarot cards are discs, and wands. Okay, and each of those represent an element of ourselves. So, you know, like I said, the wands is business and enterprise. Swords are actually our intellect, and how, you know, we can overthink things, Chris Bart, and overthink and overthink and overanalyze. And the cups are more like love and affection and those kind of emotions. And then the disc, obviously, if you look at those, they're money. They're the money cards and business and all that sort of stuff. And so, you know, you can actually do a reading with just the major arcana cards, but I like incorporating all of them because we all go through those different emotions. And that's why sometimes, you know, you get these weird a layout of cards and you go, how the hell does that make sense? But you can actually, it tells a story, and it tells a story. Sorry, my husband just gave me the middle finger up. It tells a story of that point in time. And, you know, a lot of times in most tarot reading cards and layouts, spreads, that's the word, the tarot spreads, there's like a past, a present and a future. Even when you do the standard Celtic spread, which is what is going to be in my course, there's past, because you need a bit of backstory, the present and then the future prediction for it. So you always need a bit of backstory for the question. So it's not telling your whole life story, because that you can never go, what's my whole life story, what's, you know, ahead in the future. It will focus on a particular thing. So, you know, you ask the tarot a question, and you shuffle the cards, and you'll know when I do my live tarot readings, which I'm doing a little bit later in the week, so hang around, come back for those. I shuffle the cards, and for me, when I shuffle the cards, and I go, oh, now's the right time to pull a card. But you shuffle the cards and you ask a question, you know, and so, for instance, I'm going to go, okay, what's something generally that everybody needs to know? Okay, and I just shuffle the cards out, and finally I'll just feel like I need to pull the card out. So I stop and I pull the card out, and you've got the Page of Swords. Okay, so, you know, you might have asked a question for... And so generally for you, I'm just going to say this is a general kind of thing. I see this, and the first thing is just take the leap, make a decision, listen to your gut instinct, and just see where the wind takes you. But people keep replying. Oh, what's he doing? What is he doing? I'm a bad man. Oh dear. Yes, you are a bad man. So tarot are a really, really good guidance, and that's why I've created this course. Like I said, it's detailed enough that I feel confident that you will get all the information that you need to know to be able to either do readings for yourself or for other people. I created it because you asked for it, but I wanted it to be right. I wanted it to feel right in my head that this is a good course, and I do feel that it is. And the lovely lady Amanda, who helps me with my social media, like helping me post things and you know, looks after advertising and all that sort of stuff for me. She just went, oh my God, I learned so much from this course, you know, because she made it pretty, you know, in that sense. So she had to read through it all and edit it and all that sort of jazz. So for me, I hope you get a lot. I hope when you do this course that you get a lot from it. I like the tarot cards. I love oracle cards as well. They are not wrong or not as good. They're a completely different kind of thing to tarot cards. But I do believe that the tarot cards can be really, really helpful to us when we maybe feel a bit stuck, maybe just need a bit of guidance. Now, and I'm just going to mention this because it is something that actually came up today. the tarot cards aren't going to always tell you everything. Okay, so you might sit there and do, a 6-month spread for yourself, or, just a 3-card spread, or whatever it is that you want to do. And, you're not going to get told every single thing that's going to happen in the future. And that's the same with clairvoyant readings. We don't get told everything. Some things we're not meant to know. We're not meant to know that somebody's going to have a miscarriage, or a baby's going to be stillborn, or somebody's going to commit suicide, or be paraplegic in a car accident, or whatever, or anything like that. Some things we're just not meant to know that they're coming up, and they will just come up. And I know people get angry, especially at me, as happened today, that, how dare I not know that? I should have known that. I should have known that was going to happen, and it's like, I didn't, because I wasn't told. And it's the same with the tarot. They will tell you what you need to know. They won't tell you everything. And the other thing with tarot, which can be people don't like as well, is they will tell you things that you might not be really wanting to hear at this point in time. Like, yes, you need to be focused more on your business, or, you need to make a decision about your love life. Do you really want to be with your partner or not? And it's not necessarily always your partner's fault, and all of those kind of things. And so people can struggle. And I went and found some funny memes about tarot, and I like the one which is, and I've done this myself, is you shuffle the cards and you pull a card out and go, yeah, I don't want that card. You shuffle it and you just keep pulling and you shuffle. And it's the same card every single time. That's the card that you draw. It's like, alrighty then, I suppose I have to listen to that message and, go along with it. But that's how it works, and that's how the spirit world works, and that's how tarot cards work. So they are a story of your life, and depending on where you are in your life is how the cards play out for you. And like sometimes you might do a card and you think you progress, and then you go backwards and you go, well, I'm doing this card again, but it could be about a slightly different issue that you haven't dealt with yet. Because, like you might get the World, which I'm not going to, I'll try and sift through and see if I can find it. You might get the World card, which is like, that's the end in one phase of your life, ready to go into another phase of your life, but it doesn't necessarily mean every single phase of your life. So, you might get the World card, and, it could be that the kids have grown up and left home, which is great and it's exciting. And, that phase of your life of being like a parent with your kids at home is now over. So there you go. There's the World card. However, your career might just be starting to change, or, you might realise you're still stuck in your job, and that's another decision that you have to make. Do you stay in your job or do you not? So it's not like, your whole world is completely over in this phase and everything is going to be new and fresh. It comes in stages. So as we grow and we learn and we understand, then, then we get different messages with the tarot. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. For those of you who don't really know tarot, or maybe have been a little bit overwhelmed by tarot, you don't need to be. Like I said, I created this course because you asked for it. And I spent months creating this course. Ask Chris. I was like, what are you doing? I'm working on my tarot course. But I really do believe that it is something that you will be able to use for your benefit, okay? That you will be able to understand the cards more, get better clarity from them, and, like I said, use them in your life in a way that you can get guidance. And look, I'm not saying don't ever rely on a clairvoyant or whatever, because believe me, I've had readings from other people, because you're just sitting there going, okay, sometimes I can be a little bit biased as to what I want my reading to be, so it's good to sometimes get a second opinion. Believe me, I have done that before. So everyone, I hope you have enjoyed that little story. Like I said, I'm no longer scared of the tarot. I'm quite happy to use them. Like I said, for this course, I'm using the Rider-Waite deck. Okay, that's this deck, the Rider-Waite deck. And they will be the cards that you will be needing to get if you want to do my course, because they're the cards that the imagery is what I'm using, because it is, you do need to take account of the imagery of the card as well as what the general meaning behind the cards are. So I just wanted to let you know that don't be scared of tarot like I was. Please, please, please don't. they're a wonderful, wonderful tool when you feel confident in using them, and that's what my course is all about, is giving you that confidence that you can go off there and give them a go, and that's what I want you to do, okay? So, tomorrow, the cart will be opened. You'll see emails coming out to you, and for those of you who have signed up for my newsletter, you'll notice that I haven't done any newsletters, and that is literally because I don't like bombarding people endlessly with things, and you'll just get tarot about the tarot course, and then once the cart is closed, then my normal newsletters will start up again, okay? So that's how I do it. I personally don't like getting constantly bombarded, so I just like step back a bit and go, I'm just focusing on this, that's what we're doing, and then I'll get back into my normal routine of doing things. So everyone, I will be doing live tarot readings later in the week, maybe Friday. So make sure you hang around. Be about the same time, 7 o'clock. But shh, maybe. Okay. And yeah, I hope to see you then. I hope you sign up and enjoy the course when it is released tomorrow. And yeah, let me know how you go. I'll catch you all later. Bye. If I can finish I can't finish. I'm gonna have to take this out. It's not letting me press the button.